Yes, this week he even took me on a mini tour of the neighborhood. And Josh, why don't you just give anyone here who doesn't know what Zach's house is about, give them a real quick, just a nutshell, what's it involved?
Zach's house is an extension of the church right beside this property. It's a 2-story, 3-bedroom house where we're using it to serve and reach out intentionally into the neighborhood that surrounds us. And at this house we have up to 5 guys. I think at one time we've had even 6. It was a little tight. But we have up to 5 guys who live there intentionally, who want to grow together in their faith, as well as utilizing the house for Bible studies, for dinners, building relationships and reaching out through the house, utilizing the inside, the outside, and every tool we can find just to serve and reach out into the neighborhood.
Just to kind of give us a background, why is it called Zach's house?
Zach's house, yeah. Initially it was actually called, and some of you might remember, the Treboni house. And for throughout the process, as we were getting ready to purchase the house, the last owner of the house was Treboni, Mrs. Treboni. And as I was reading through, one of the passages that I was really drawn to was this passage here in Luke, in the story of Zacchaeus. And as I saw the story of Zacchaeus, we've just read in the last couple moments how Jesus steps into this man's world. He steps into his life. And when he comes up to Zacchaeus, he reaches out. And Zacchaeus, it says that Zacchaeus was anxious, that he was curious to see Jesus, and for Zacchaeus, but it was his height. He couldn't see, so he climbs up in a tree. But it wasn't just his height. He was a tax collector. So he was an outsider. But he wasn't just a tax collector and an outsider. He was wealthy. And so there was this great distance for Zacchaeus. And while he was still curious, Jesus reaches into his world, initiates, sees him, and then does what is unexpected. And we just read how Jesus steps into his world, invites himself to his house. Zach becomes the recipient of grace. It changes his life, it changes his house, and it changes those around us. And so that was a story that really resonated with us as we caught this picture of what should the future and what should the model of this church look like. It's Zach's house. We're recipients of God's mercy, of his grace. He sees us, he responds in a way that we don't expect. It changes our life, and then it spills out into the lives of others.
So if everything